20 seconds to go. One last gasp for Edmonton. Bouchard's pass didn't click with Draisaitl. 12 seconds to go. Florida trying to end it up against the wall, which would be fitting. 3 seconds to go. The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup. For the first time in their 30-year history, the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions. They made it about as hard on themselves as they possibly could, battling a valiant Edmonton team that had rallied from adversity all season long. And Paul Maurice, coaching lifer, 30 years in the National Hockey League, has his Stanley Cup.
What the puck is going on?
All right, this is what the puck is going on for Monday night, January the 6th, 2025. Just in case you hear some audio glitches, let me know. Send the text hotline, 757-354-5517. Paid a lot of money for the internet around here for a good hard wire. And something tells me it is not acting quite right. That's all. So if we get a little glitchy or we drop out for a second, just keep in mind that I'm probably more likely aware of that. Maybe send me a text and let me know that's the case. 757-354-5517. All right. NFL is over with. No more round robin regular seasons. So this is our regular season show for now with the National Hockey League. We're looking to doing extended programming with this. Maybe we'll start to bring this on a couple nights a week. We have a lot of fun doing what the puck is going on. Nephew Dave is on assignment this evening, so you'll just be stuck with me on this NFL short slate. But that's fine. We'll go through everything across the board here in the NHL. All right, let's take a look at the standings first. That's what Dave likes to do. We'll take a look at that, and then I'm going to look at the injury report too, and we'll see where we stand there. But let's see who's winning and losing streak-wise, and we have some streaks. I mean, look at the Atlantic here in the Eastern Conference. You have all kinds of teams streaking here. You have Toronto, who's now won 4 games in a row. They're on top of the Atlantic. They have 54 points. 4 points clear of Florida, who's just 6-4 in their last 10. They're the one team who's not streaking. The Bruins, after we thought they righted the ship, have been absolutely atrocious on the road. They've now lost 4 in a row. And the Bruins sitting in third place with 45 points. Yeah, you probably hear it in my voice too. Here we go, a little bit of winter time and sub-freezing temperatures. Rain, snow, ice, and it's a wonderful time of the year for all in that regard. Tampa Bay, perfect hockey weather, really. Tampa Bay losers are 4 in a row themselves. Man, they've really been struggling on the West Coast. They've lost to San Jose. They've lost to the Kings. Now they lose to Anaheim yesterday, and in emphatic fashion. Not even close. Actually, I'm mixing them up with the Devils here, but Tampa Bay hasn't been much better. Losers of 4 in a row. They're getting slapped around pretty good at the moment. Ottawa's lost a couple games in a row. They're sitting right there in the 5th spot in the Atlantic. And then Montreal is one of the better teams in their last 10, 7-3 in their last 10. So they're actually gaining ground. They got 39 points for them. Detroit we're kicking the dirt on their grave. They've not won 4 in a row, so they're streaking hot. And Buffalo has lost 3 in a row, last place in the Atlantic for them. So you have 2 teams with a 4-game losing streak, 2 teams with a 4-game winning streak, and 1 team, Buffalo, with a 3-game losing streak, all in that division. Things a little bit more settled in the Metro, except for New Jersey, who was in first place this time last week. They're now 4 points back of the Capitals. The Capitals just 5-4-1 in their last 10. But the Devils, bad West Coast trip for them. Losers are 4 in a row. Easy for me to mix up Tampa and New Jersey right now, as they're both, every time I look at the scoreboard, getting slapped around pretty good, as I mentioned. Carolina, they won 1 in a row, but just Eddie steady for them, 5-5 in their last 10, gaining 1 point from overtime. Pittsburgh, who we thought righted the ship a little bit, heading in the right direction, and lo and behold, 3 losses in a row now for the Penguins. Good news for them, they're able to grab 3 points out of overtime in their last 10 games. Columbus, I feel like every game goes over for them. I mentioned that last week. Terrible on the road, spectacular at home, 13-5-3 at home, 4-12-3 on the road. But the Blue Jackets, 17-17-6 on the season with 40 points, still trying to hang in there. Philadelphia has regressed. They were red hot. Now they're 3-6-1, and their last 10 lost a couple in a row. The Rangers win yesterday, but they're still 3-7 in their last 10. They do crawl out of the bottom of the Metro with 37 points. Actually, they're going to be tied right there with the Islanders at the bottom with 37 points as well. So the Islanders and Rangers, the 2 core New York teams, not giving a lot of their fans a lot to root for there. My Winnipeg Jets, you only want to talk about streaks, here we go. Same with the Eastern Conference here out in the West. It is topsy-turvy. Winnipeg, they've now lost 3 in a row, 56 points for them. Minnesota has been affected out of that. They've won 3 in a row themselves, and now they're just trail Winnipeg by 2 points. They have 54 points overall. Dallas, they've been red hot. They've won 4 in a row. Just 7 games back now of Winnipeg. So closing the gap a little bit on the Jets are the Stars. A good quality hockey team, 7-2-1 in their last 10. Colorado lost their last time out, but 7-2-1 for them in their last 10. And then right at 500 are these teams in their last 10: St. Louis, Utah, Nashville, and Chicago, 1 game below 500 at 4-6. All right, and in the Pacific Division, 8-2 overall in their last 10 for Vegas. They won 2 in a row, so they're hot. The Kings, they won 4 in a row, so they're hot. And Edmonton, they won 3 in a row. They're hot. So the top 3 teams there, separated by 6 points. Edmonton and the Kings both with 51. Vegas with 57. Vancouver, they've been slipping a little bit, but overtime points have been decent for them at least. 3-4-3 for them. 18, 12, and 8 on the season are the Canucks, losing their last time out. They have 44 points. So still 7 points back of Edmonton and LA, and 13 full points back of Vegas still. And then it starts to drop off. Calgary with 43 points. They've lost 2 in a row. Anaheim, Seattle, San Jose rounded out. All right, so a lot of streaking going on is the moral of that story. Let's take a look at the injuries. We didn't do that last week. Let's kind of get caught up to date with that. Anaheim, Brock McGinn, he'll be out for a couple of days. Zegras, they'll get him back in a few weeks. The lone 2 injuries for them. Hampus Lindholm for Boston. We should get him out. We should get him back sometime in January, it looks like. Buffalo with a trio of injuries. Calgary, just a couple of injuries. but they are season ending, including our man Anthony Mantha. Let's see, William Courier is day-to-day for Carolina. Shane Gostisbehere on a short-term injury list for Carolina. Tyler Jost, short-term for him. And then they'll get Frederick Anderson, hopefully back sometime February or March. But key players for them are banged up. Chicago, just a trio of injuries. Colorado is always hurt. Killington, Landeskog, Wedgwood, now hurt short term. Nichushkin, short term for him. Landeskog's going to be the key one. They'll get him back hopefully by March. Columbus, 4 injuries for them. Dallas is healthy, except Seguin is out long term for them. Mason Marchant, they'll get him back soon. Detroit, just an injury for them. Edmonton, Alec Regula is the short-term injury for them. They've had Evander Kane out for a while. Hopefully they'll get him back here by March 1st. Now, we say March 1st, that sounds like a long way away. And technically it is. But the way Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's have flown by, March 1st will be here before you know it. It'll be March Madness basketball before you know it, people. Aaron Ekblad for the Panthers is on their injured list amongst 3 players. Everyone's short-term for them. Drew Doherty for the Kings is their lone injury, so they're pretty healthy. Minnesota, a banged-up unit, although they've been playing good. Frederick Gaudreau is amongst that. Kaprizov is amongst that. They should get all these guys back soon. Middleton, Zuccarello, Lauco, good players for Minnesota, but just out short term. For Montreal, Carey Price is the long-term guy, gone for the season. David Savard, Patrick Lane, they'll get these guys back sooner than later, next week or two. Nashville, 4 injuries to report for them. Lauzon, Novak, Willsby, all these guys are short-term for them. Short-term injuries for New Jersey, just a pair. Eric Haula and Hataka, Santeri Hataka for New Jersey. Both these guys later January, back for them. The Islanders continuing to be banged up as well. Riley, Mike Riley hurt. Varlamov still hurt. Holstrom still hurt. They've gotten guys off the injured list, and then they get new guys right back on as well. So several injuries for these guys. Igor Shesterkin, a short-term injury for the Rangers. So Shesterkin, the goalie, be reevaluated tomorrow. It looks like Chris Kreider day-to-day for the Rangers as well. For Ottawa, Omark gone till mid-month. Perrin gone for another week or so maybe. Ottawa, definitely a banged-up team. Bernard Docker day-to-day. Amadio is short-term as well. The Flyers, just a trio of injuries for them. Pittsburgh healthy. Face injury for him. Wallman, Sturm, Grunstrom. All these guys are short-term for the most part for San Jose. Yanni Gourde should be out another week or so for Seattle. Jordan Eberle, longer term. Maybe they'll get him back late February or March. St. Louis, 4 injuries to report for them. Mainly short term. Torrey Krug gone for the season. Moser is the one Tampa Bay injury. That will be longer term. We'll see him back in March. Toronto, they've been banged up. Seems to be getting a little healthier, though. Stolars, we'll get him back sometime in January. Pontus Holmberg is day-to-day with an illness. Jake McCabe, short-term. Hakanapa, Yadi, Hakanapa, should be back here sooner than later. Utah is getting pretty banged up right now at this point. Robert Bortuzzo, John Marino, Connor Ingram, all guys we should see back in a week or so. Vancouver's a banged up team now, so they've developed injuries, most short term for them. Quinn Hughes, Elias Peterson, Dakota Joshua, Thatcher Dempko back on the list. That they just got Dempko back, and now he's back injured again. Short-term injuries for Vegas with Nicholas Roy and Ivan Barbashev. Robert Leonard, the goalie, gone for the season. And with the Capitals, they look to get Sonny Milano back. That is their one key missing piece that they hope to get back by February the 1st. And Winnipeg, several injuries for them now. Hayden Fleury, Colin Miller, Mason Appleton, and Dylan Sandberg, all guys they should get back sooner than later. All right, so full injury report there. How about that? It's not like anyone sticks out for a super injured team, but man, there are a lot of teams with 4 or 5 injuries now where we haven't had that before. So Winnipeg, Vancouver, Utah, Toronto, St. Louis, San Jose, Ottawa, the Islanders, Minnesota, Columbus, Colorado, Carolina. If I left your name off that list, you're fortunate injury-wise because those are the banged up teams at the moment. All right, let's take a look at the slate. I think we have a short slate. One of these Mondays, we're coming up to a longer slate. That's why I think we'll try to start to get to 2 nights a week here and get with it. Talk a little more hockey. We always have fun with it. Do pretty well overall. Let's see. We do have our Capitals playing. Minus 160 at the Sabres. 6.5 is the total goals for this game. Let's see. Who are my goalies tonight? As we are about 40 minutes from face drop there. I got Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for the Sabres, and I got Charlie Lindgren for the Capitals tonight. Plain and simple, I can't trust Buffalo. I think the Capitals are much more the veteran, better team here. It's just as simple as it says in the standings here. Buffalo's at the bottom, and the Capitals are at the top. So this is a game the Capitals should win. Buffalo does play some higher scoring games. I feel like, to me, let's get the splits up here for Buffalo. Yeah, they do. So they've given up 137 goals. They've scored 122. Washington has scored 145, conceded only 104. This is a full green light for Washington on an alternate puck line, probably on a team goal play. The total team goals for the Capitals, you're getting a plus number, plus 112 at over 3.5 goals. You got to love that tonight against Buffalo, a team who just leaks goals, and a nice, impressive Capital offense as well. So that's a great bet, over 3.5 for the Capitals. They go over their team goals all the time. I mean, literally all the time. If you want to take the Capitals on the 60-minute money line at plus 110, I won't argue with you there. And then if you think we can get the blowout tonight, the Capitals win this game by 4 goals. 4-0, 5-1, 6-2. You're going to get 7-1 odds on that. Minus 2.5 is at plus 285. So Capitals look like a great play to me right there. Another game at 7:40. Are these all spread out through the evening, these 4 games? Yeah, actually decent games anyway. Montreal's been in good form, and they'll play the Vancouver team who's still well above 500 in their record, especially in regulation. So interesting matchup here. We talked about Vancouver being banged up, but Montreal's red hot here. 5.5. I would look towards an over, to be honest, in this game. Looks like a cheap number. I don't think Montreal is that dead under team we think about of yesteryear. They've given up 132 goals. They've scored 117. By nature, and that's a minus 15, but by nature, that is better than the league average, just kind of looking at it. Right? Man, maybe a little below average, but still decent as far as goals being able to get in there. 7-3, again, in their last 10, 10-7-2 at home. Really a slower start for Montreal this season where they've been hotter late. So climbing up the standings a little bit, not necessarily sitting at the bottom. And this interconference matchup against Vancouver will be an interesting one. Vancouver on the road, look at this, 11-4-2. So they've been fantastic on the road, just 7-8-6 at home. They've scored 116, allowed 121. As good as Vancouver is on the road and as good as Montreal is in recent form, I think 5.5 is too cheap for an over-under. So I would look over in that scenario for this game. Let's see, our goalies. I have one listed, and that's for the Canadians, and that is Montembeault for them. All right. So over 5.5 would be my play in this game. The next game, 9 o'clock Eastern time, is a good one with Florida and Colorado. You don't have any Monday night football tonight, so taking some hockey if you want some sports. I mean, get some Capitals early and then get onto this Florida and Colorado game. If you don't know where to get your NHL content, you can get it on the ESPN app. Was it ESPN Plus, which is relatively cheap, $10 a month, and they'll give you pretty much every hockey game. So just for the hockey sake alone, the ESPN Plus I think is worth it. Colorado a minus 132 favorite. Florida is at plus 110. Now, the Florida recent form has me concerned a little bit, right? Aren't they struggling a bit? They kind of leveled off, 6-4. They are 12-6-1 on the road. So it looks like their worst days are behind them a little bit. Colorado, 11-8-1 at home. You'd expect that to be a little bit better. They've scored 137. They've given up 130. Florida, they've scored 135, given up 124. So both of these teams have been over teams kind of naturally by that mark. So maybe take over 6.5 here. Maybe this is a full-on over evening with Florida, Colorado, and then Vancouver, Montreal, and then your Caps team goals. So I kind of like that myself. Maybe I'll go ahead and put a ticket on those Capital team goals. Vancouver, Montreal over, Florida, Colorado over as well. The goalies we have listed. I got Mackenzie Blackwood for the Avalanche and Sergei Bobrovsky for the Panthers are your two goalies listed this evening. All right, and one more game to go, New Jersey and the Kraken. The Devils minus 255, over under 5.5. The Devils are a team, again, struggling, but Seattle is as bad as it gets. I mean, they're not a good hockey team. This is a complete get-right spot here for New Jersey. 9-9-3 at home or Seattle. 3-6-1 in their last 10. Losers of 2 in a row. Jersey, losers of 4 in a row. You got to think that streak stops tonight again at Seattle. 12-9 on the road still for Jersey. So I'll go ahead and take them with their team goals. They'll at least score, I think. Probably get off the snide in that remark. But over 3.5 team goals for New Jersey is at minus 122. The Kraken over 2.5 is at plus 110. The 60-minute money line for the Devils is at -160. Still a cheap number, or still an expensive number in that regard. I don't have a Devils goaltender because they played yesterday. This is a back-to-back. I do see Philip Grubauer as the goalie for Seattle. But go ahead and give me the Devil goals. You got to think they had some sort of locker room renaissance last night. Maybe they did. Maybe it's out there in the news. I haven't been paying attention to it today on this NFL Black Friday, where only one coach gets fired, which that's probably a record. But the Devils, if you're losing games to Anaheim and stuff like that, and San Jose, you need to have a team meeting and get things squared away. Seattle is the perfect remedy to make things right for the Devils this evening. All right. So my best bets would be Capitals team goals, Devils team goals. Then I would look towards the over on the Vancouver-Montreal game and the Panthers and the Avalanche. All right. Easy enough. Games of note tomorrow. Let's just take a look at a few of those because I think we have some good ones lined up. Columbus and Pittsburgh should be an interesting game as those teams jockey for position to try to get out of the bottom of their divisions. Edmonton and Boston. It's another good game. That is at the TD Garden tomorrow night. Dallas and the Rangers. Interesting game there at Madison Square Garden. Hurricanes and the Lightning. Another decent game. Divisional game. Ottawa is at Detroit. Toronto is at Philadelphia. St. Louis is at Minnesota. Nashville is at Winnipeg. So Nashville continues their trip out west. Calgary is at Anaheim. And Vegas is at San Jose. So a full slate tomorrow. Probably your better game. Maybe we come up with a couple plays here. I would look for Columbus Blue Jacket team goals. Probably over 2.5 is somewhere where you'll get that. A lot of these lines aren't listed yet. I would look at the Edmonton 60-minute line. Let's see what we can get for that. Edmonton 60-minute line. Do we have that available? Plus 120. So that's interesting. Dallas and the Rangers. I would look for the Rangers or Dallas to continue to beat down on the Rangers. Why not? Dallas will be on their 60-minute line right around even money, correct? Yep, a flat plus 100 for Dallas. And let's see. I would look for Toronto on their team goals against the Flyers as well. The Flyers a little bit leaky on their back end as well. Figured a Toronto over 3.5 team goals is probably minus 130, something like that. All right. So decent slate tomorrow night. Let's go ahead and look at the futures, and then we'll recap the plays. I'll give you a goal scorer or two as well for tonight, and we'll throw someone into the penalty box, which there are a lot of teams worthy of that. All right. So NHL futures. And let's just take a look at the conference standings right now. We'll look for the futures in that regard. Carolina is your favorite, plus 340. Then Florida, plus 390. Devils, plus 480. Maybe 6-1. Lightning, 9-1. Still a great number on the Capitals at 10-1. Bruins, 15-1. Ottawa, 18-1. The Rangers have slipped to 21-1. You got to remember, Edmonton's been on these kind of slides too. And has rebounded for the playoffs. So maybe now is the time to buy on the Rangers. Islanders 42-1, Flyers 80-1, Penguins 80-1, Blue Jackets 210-1. Let's see, odds to make the playoffs. The Blue Jackets at 6-1 are interesting, just to make the playoffs. And you can combine three guys into a parlay. Rangers are plus 182 right now to make the playoffs. So if you take a Columbus and the Rangers, you can get almost 19-1 to make the playoffs right now. Our Capitals are not even listed right now. Are they that high of a favorite? I guess so. because Toronto's minus 7,000 and the Panthers are minus 7,000. So that they're giving you a lot of clout to the Capitals. They're just going to assume they've clinched a playoff spot already. Let's look at the playoff odds to make the playoffs on some of these other teams as well. 80+ numbers I like with Utah, Calgary, St. Louis, Nashville, Seattle, or Anaheim. St. Louis is an interesting one. So you do a St. Louis, Columbus, and the Rangers just to make the playoffs, and you're going to get $10 to win $1,371. So that's not the worst thing, I think, in the world right now. Teams on the outside looking in to make a run here in the second part of the season. All right, back to the conference. And in the Western Conference, Edmonton is plus 310, Dallas plus 470, Avalanche 6-1, Vegas 6-1, Winnipeg plus 750, Kings 10-1, Wild 10-1, Vancouver 14-1. The Predators still favorites over a lot of teams, 39-1 for them. The Blues 110-1. Are the Blues that far out of it? I feel like they've been surging a little bit. Let's see. St. Louis. Right now, let's get to the conference angle of this here. St. Louis right now is 2 points out of the playoffs. Is that right? Yeah. So you're telling me I'm getting 6-1 for them to make the playoffs? And they're just 2 points back? That's because someone like Colorado, Dallas, Edmonton would have to be left out at the end of the day. Or, Dallas, Colorado, Vancouver, someone like that. But, man, they could catch Vancouver. So keep an eye out on the Blues there. And then on the other side of things, Columbus is just a point out of the playoffs. And the Rangers, as bad as they've been, just 4 points. So all they got to do is turn it around. I like that ticket. Columbus, the Rangers, and St. Louis to make the playoffs. Again, 130-1 odds for those three teams, all within striking distance of the bottom of the conference. Wow. Okay. All right. Interesting stuff. Let's see. The Wild still a good price at 10-1. But most of the top of the conference odds have stayed the same since last week overall. So if you still want to grab a Winnipeg Capitals ticket and get a decent payout of, let's see, 92-1, you certainly can. All right, let's go ahead and throw someone into the penalty box, and then we'll get a goal scorer for this evening.
And you're trying to switch 7 guys. Mike,
In fact, I'll give you 2 goal scorers.
That was probably number 10. 2 minutes broken. 82, Tampa, tripping.
All right, going into the penalty box tonight. Let's try to give you someone, you got to throw the Flyers in there. 3-6-1, losers of 2 in a row. 3-6-1, their last 10. They haven't been playing well. They'll get Toronto tomorrow, so a tough opponent there. I'll throw the Flyers in there from the East, and in the West, we'll throw in to the penalty box. And in the penalty box are teams that we can try to bet against, pick against them, whatever. Let's go with, I'm going to throw Seattle in there again. They've been a popular play for me to go into the penalty box. They've been living in there as far as I'm concerned. So let's keep them in there. The Kraken are a team to fade, I believe, right now. All right. And then a couple goal scorers for this evening. Goal scorers for this evening. Let's see here. Give me a Capital for sure. Let's go ahead and take Jakub Vrana plus 480 because I didn't take him last time I wanted to, and he scored. So Jakub Vrana plus 480, a nice big payout to score a goal in which the Capitals should have plenty tonight. If you want to take some Tom Wilson at plus 260, I will not fault you there. And then let's go ahead and take one in this other game, which I think we can get goals in. In fact, I'll give you one for each game. How about that? Let's take Nick Suzuki for the Canadians plus 250. We'll take him. If you want to take some Kirby Doc at plus 380, I'm not going to fault you there. Colorado and Florida goal scorer in this game. Let's see. Let's just keep it simple here and take Alexander Barkov plus 220 for the Panthers. If you want to take Cal McCarr on the flip side at plus 340, I will not fault you there. And then we'll take a New Jersey Devil as well. Might as well. Get off the snide. How about nice and easy? Jack Hughes plus 130. All right, that's what the puck is going on for January the 6th, 2025. We got about 30 minutes until face-off in Buffalo. Good luck. We will see you next Monday night. We will have on our program Sizzle Lean, our fitness program with Karen Doherty, powered by Fit to Be Trained. That will be at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. And then 2 editions, Saturday and Sunday, of the Round Robin, getting you prepped for NFL Wild Card Weekend. All right, we'll see you hockey fans back here next Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good luck.